welcome back to another page in the Nevermore Ledger, the Creep on June 2025 project run by Tracie Fox. And today I'm going to be making a really simple but effective multiple pocket from one sheet of A4 paper. I'm going to be putting it in the middle of my journal here. My journal has two signatures, and I don't know about you, but you always get this bit of a gap in the middle. And I feel that that sort of allows me to put something slightly more bulky on one of these pages. So that's where it's going to go. But without further ado, I'm going to show you the fold. I have an A4 piece of paper or letter size. I have printed it on both sides with the backgrounds that come in the Nevermore Ledger kit. And I'm going to show you a really simple fold. And that basically is your pocket. Now, it really is that simple. You don't need any glue. You know, I laugh because when I first saw this, I could not believe how easy it was. And so what I'm going to do now is to place this on one of these pages. I'm just thinking whether those I was going to place it on one of these pages. I'm just thinking whether those colours clash too much for the orange. I might go on the red there. I think what I'm going to do is to find something to go behind here. So I'm going to have a rummage around and I'll be back in a moment. All right. What I've found is this black net. I think it might be called tulle, and I'm going to use this as an overlay on this page. So I'm going to cut this to the right size, and what that does in effect is just sort of takes away a little bit of that colour. It's almost like using gesso, I guess. It sort of knocks it back. So I'm going to attach that around the edge, and then I'm just debating, actually I may see if I can stitch it at least along this edge. What's on the other side? I've already got something on the other side, but I don't think that will hurt. I'll have a think. I'm either going to stitch it or stick it, but I need to cut it to the right size to start with, and then I'm going to pop this over the top. All right, now I'm just holding that down quite firmly for a moment to allow it to dry, and you will notice that I did not glue this piece here. So I didn't put any glue on there, and the reason will become evident in a moment. Now, the other thing I didn't do that you could have done was to ink the edges of this before you stick it down. And that was just, you know, in my excitement, I completely forgot. So I'm going to just try and add a little bit of colour along some of the edges of those pages without... I mean, you know, it's not crucial. It's going to have a lot of stuff in, so it's not going to notice particularly. But I do like the look of the ink edges. And it was just something I completely forgot today. One of those days. It's not going to show on that black netting, so that's fine. I can just run my little inker around those edges there. Kind of more haste, less speed this morning, obviously. It's Sunday. Maybe I'm still half asleep. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Right. Just add a little bit on there, look. There we go. All right. So now I've already prepped some things to go in here. I had a big session the other day of prepping a whole load of tags and things. But I want to show you something. Now, if you watched my last video, you will know that I added in a copy, or the copy of the whole of one of, here we go, the copy of one of Edgar Allan's poems that had inspired some of the quotes on here. And it was The Village Street, and I did it in that format. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, actually, yeah, I've been really enjoying reading more of Edgar Allan Poe's work during this project, and so I've decided to, as I go through the journal, is to add in a few more of his complete poems, just as something I can go back and look at and enjoy and read as time goes on. So this is Annabel Lee, and this is sort of a poem about his undying love, or the strong love that he has with Annabel Lee. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. And basically, like a lot of Edgar Allan Poe's work, it takes a little bit of a dark turn, and Annabel Lee dies, and in the end we have the verse, and so all the night tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the side of the sea. So poor Annabel Lee dies, and she's buried in this tomb by the sea. And so here's the appropriate quote. And I also have done a couple of journaling cards here with the tomb by the side of the sea. So they're just little, they're images from Tracie's kit, and I've backed them so that they can be journaling cards. And I've completed this tag, and I thought this was a very romantic picture, and again, that's just a tag that provides journaling space. So I'm going to pop all these things in this envelope, or in this pocket rather, but I want to, I think, attach this here. So I think I'm just going to put a bit of glue behind it, and I'm wondering whether I can bring in a little bit more of this. Let's have a look. I've got an offcut here. because I happen to have used a bit on this tag. What do you think? What would you do? Actually, maybe just we can kind of give it a bit of a scraggy, not quite straight look. Yeah, I think that will suffice. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along here. And attach that. Now, I'm going to let that dry. Well, whilst that's drying, I'm just going to pull out a bit of washi tape, I think. Let's have a look. I've got a big box of washi tape here. I have some, yeah, that might be. Oh, there's a script one there. Might be quite nice. Let's have a look at some of those. That will suffice nicely. What I'm doing this for, let me try that again. The reason I'm doing this is that it just covers the edge of that net, and it's going to stop it getting pulled up, basically. And it also looks a bit more attractive than just the edge of the net on the back of that card. Now, I'll do a little bit of a delicate operation here and just trim those corners without cutting the net. There we go. So you don't actually see it from the front, but it just holds that down, and it's not going to catch on things, because whilst you're not going to really see it, or are you? Because my other thinking is whether just to put a little corner pocket on here and tuck this in. I was going to stick it down. Ah, decisions. I'm telling you, it's Sunday, my brain's on holiday. No, I am going to stick it down. Stick with my original plan. So I'm just going to stick the corner like that. Actually, I can do a little bit more. So in all honesty, it didn't matter what washi tape I put on the back, because you're probably not going to see it, but that's okay. I'm going to pop that there. Okay, give that a moment to dry. And now I'm just going to pop all the bits and pieces in, and you will see the reason I didn't glue this top bit here at the back is that we end up with one pocket, two pockets, three pockets, four. So there we go. It's just one simple folded piece of paper, and you've got multiple pockets. And this can be used, you know, this is a lovely kind of spooky journal, but this can be used in any kind of journal. If you've got a garden or a floral journal, use a floral piece of paper. You know, whatever the theme of your journal, you can change this to match up. Now, I'm actually not going to do anything else to that page, except I might just sort of trim along here, and I'm just going to do random little bits like this just to make it not quite so uniform and a little bit rougher. You'll see what I mean in a minute, because I'm going to turn around, I'm going to come back this way. Just take some random snippets out of it, just to get rid of that straight edge, really. Do you know, it's sometimes harder to be random than it is straight. But there we go. That's just, if you can see that there against my hand, that's just taken that straight edge off. All right, so that's our page for today. Short and sweet, but as I say, easy, versatile pocket, and another lovely page in our Creep on June video. So thank you very much for watching. Ka kite anō.